everybody. Welcome to the Coach Steve Smith Show. I'm Jeff Underwood. This guy right here is Jerry White. What's up?
Again, favorite show of the week. We get to talk ball with Coach Steve Smith, and there's nothing better talking ball with Coach Steve Smith than after a big victory.
Come on.
No doubt. No doubt. It's a lot better to talk about a win, that's for sure.
It is. let's just get right into that. There are wins. Then there are wins where you feel like we played well.
Right.
Which one was this?
I thought we played well. Especially it been the first game. You talk about complimentary football, and I know people that don't like to hear coach talk probably don't like what I'm going to say here, but this game was decided. The score 44-7 sounds like a really lopsided game, but Coach Blanchard and I had talked about this over the weekend and early this week, reflecting back on it because coaches get together. Hey, coach, what'd you see? What'd you see right? What'd you see wrong? What did you pick up on? But that game could be defined. I think each one of us had 12 possessions in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Our kicker, Reed Barber, had 6 touchbacks when we kicked off, and he also had 3 punts down inside the 20.
Come on.
So there was 9 of the 12 times when Glencoe took over the ball, they had to go 80 yards plus. Flip side of that, we played really good on the defensive side of the ball, got some 3 and outs, got some punts, and fielded some punts. 9 of our 12 possessions started on the plus 50 or better, or the plus side of the 50. And so, we had 4 turnovers. We blocked a punt, took over inside the 5. We recovered a fumble inside the 5 after we had downed a punt at the 2-yard line. So complimentary football there. Special teams setting up the defense getting a turnover, setting up the offense with just a short 2 yards to go for a touchdown. We returned an interception inside the 30-yard line, so another short field. And then we had another fumble recovery somewhere around 35 or 40, and then we fair caught a couple of punts right around midfield. So anytime your starting field position is on their side of the 50, and their starting field position is 20 or inside their own 20, you set yourself up for some opportunities to be successful if you can just complement one side of the ball with the other in special teams. And that was a big difference in that game the other night. Yardage-wise, we didn't really pile up a ton of total yards on the offensive side. Neither team ran the ball very effectively because both teams' defensive fronts were so good, I thought, in the game. But the total yardage does not go with 44 points. I think we had right over 300 total yards, but it was because we had such a short field. And you go back into that part of the game that people a lot of times overlook or don't talk about as much. But the special teams obviously set us up, and like I said, getting some 3 and outs in the defensive front and the linebackers being so effective. Our back end secondary, we gave up a couple back-to-back big plays in the passing game for their touchdown. But I thought really overall it was a great effort all the way around, all 3 phases of the game for us.
What about your defensive guys? I mean, you got was it Easton and then Skaggs?
Skaggs, Haney, and Hooten, our defensive front 3. They
like a law firm.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Well, they played really well. They played well, and we have a high expectation on that group. That's 3 of our stronger guys on our team, and all of them are really good football players. Their ceiling is very high when they play at their best. Statistically speaking, I think Easton and Titus Jones were our co-leaders in tackles, if I remember right. But I think between those 3 guys, they combined for 5 sacks and 4 other tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And so, having some opportunities there to create some big plays with your defensive front and getting home to the quarterback without having to do a lot of blitzing, those things were huge in the game because that, in turn, that helps our secondary. We got 2 starters back in Carter Cawthorn and Luke Thompson in our secondary. Other than that, we've got guys Maddox Mooney, Gavin Michael, Justice Jones, even J.P. Taylor had an interception in the game. A lot of guys that were getting a lot of their first varsity action, and trying to break those guys in on the back end. So the pressure that we got up front with our defensive front 3 and our linebackers was instrumental. Jackson Moratz had one of his better games. Brooks Whiteside, returning inside linebacker, played really well for us. And then we had kind of a committee of Jonathan Hirschman, Jerry Zarang, Sam Legg. All those guys played some inside backer, and all of them had some moments where they made some really good plays. So it was a good night overall.
Legg's a freshman or sophomore?
Legg is a freshman.
Yeah, he's a young kid. Yeah, I've heard several people talk about that kid. And
yeah, he's a special talent.
Yeah. So I'm hearing. So before we really dive into the numbers a little bit more, kind of go at it. everyone is telling me that don't let the score fool you. That Glencoe has made
No,
strides and
they
much
have.
better.
They're much better. And look, the way this region is set up, we talked about this every time we talk about the competitiveness in the region. Everybody's still chasing Piedmont at the top of the region. And after that, due to graduation and things of that nature, you really can't shake up the other 8 and see, what comes out. And I always say Piedmont's the team to beat till somebody proves otherwise. That doesn't
100%.
mean that doesn't mean it's going to be given to them, but until somebody proves otherwise, they're the team to beat. Everybody else in the region, there's some strong suits that we all have, and there's some things that everybody has coming back, and then there's some things that they've got with some new kids that are playing or kids they've gotten out that played other sports or whatever. But I think what you're going to see with Glencoe this year, you're going to see a team that's going to be in a lot of those ball games in the region, have a chance to win a lot of those games. They've got some physical guys up front. They've got some weapons at the skill positions. They do some things really, really well. They just, like Bailey and I were talking, just cleaning up a few things here or there. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with, I think, as this year goes on.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's talk a little bit quarterback play. I heard that you played quarterback at one time. I may have read that.
That's a rumor.
So
They had to have somebody, so that was me.
So
Right.
when the first thing I look at when I'm looking at just numbers again, I watch bits and pieces of the game. I got to see some highlights, but numbers, but completion percentage matters to me when I'm
Right.
looking. Yeah, he had a really good game completion wise.
Yeah,
12 of 18, I think it
I
was.
think it was. That's right.
Yeah.
Brody, I've said it many, many times. The improvement he's made throwing the football, he's really worked hard at trying to improve, and he's made a couple little mechanical changes that I think has helped him with his accuracy. He's really good on the run.
No doubt.
He's good out of the pocket. He's obviously a run pass threat either way. The other night, I think we had 3 quarterback runs that we called for him. Now he had 6 rushes on the stat sheet because I think he had 3 scrambles. But people know what he can do with his speed. I think he's very underrated as a passer, and we got about 6 or 7 receivers that I got confidence in that can make plays in the passing game. I think we had those 12 receptions or completions. I think we had 6 or 7 different people that caught passes in the game. So he does a good job of reading the defense, finding the softest spot, and going to the right guy. Probably of the 6 incompletions he's had, 2 or 3 of them were just on him for maybe rushing his throw just a little bit or being a tad late with a throw here or there. But balls that he had opportunities to complete, and then I think we have 1 drop that I can remember right off. So he was very accurate the other night. Did a really good job. Said our line we struggled running the football. Glencoe's got a good defensive front, but they did a pretty good job in the pass protection. We were able to make some big plays in the passing game.
Well, you had 7 different guys get the ball.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking awesome when you got 7 guys you can throw it to.
Well, we got all returning starters back at receiver with Brody Johnson, Bo Kilgo, and Beckham Hammontree, but we got some guys like Cordell Martin and Parker Sims and Sawyer Stewart and Jacob Maples. We got some other guys out there too that are very capable at the receiver position. And then we got Brody Wood out of the backfield, Maximus Jones out of the backfield. Maximus had a couple of catches the other night that set up touchdowns, and it's good when you got several different options that you can go to there, and all those guys contribute in some way, and
Sure.
and we need to improve the run game. You got to be more balanced than what we were. We were heavy on the pass game as far as the yardage the other night, but give us something to work on this week to try to improve on.
Is Brody Johnson the leader of that wide receiver group as far as the leadership standpoint? Is he the guy?
Leadership wise, I'd probably say Bo is the guy.
Okay.
Bo's a team Bo's one of our team captains as far as just leadership wise.
Yeah.
He was voted one of our permanent team captains this year. Brody Johnson is a big play weapon every time he gets the ball in his hands. He had a couple of big touchdown catches the other night, and he also had one that he dropped with that 3rd touchdown. But he does a good job. He's very fluid running these routes, deceptively fast because to be a 5'9", 5'10" guy, he's got a really long stride. He's not really shifty quick with his feet, but he's got like a long stride. He runs like a 6'2", 6'3" guy with that long stride, so he's kind of gliding around. But he's got a special talent out there to be able to get open and catch the ball. He's come a long way since he first started with us in 10th grade as far as polishing up on his route running. Beckham Hammontree, what he brings to the table, he's kind of just a steady, reliable guy, got great hands, does his job. I mentioned Parker and Cordell and some Jacob, some of those other guys, Parker and Cordell in particular. they're kind of a mix. They run good routes, but they've got some speed and can get behind the defense and just it's a good assortment of guys to have. They all kind of bring something to the table. Bo's kind of one of those guys. Like I say, he's the leadership guy. He has that role from the captain's title, but Bo's just kind of a shifty guy. He's in for what people would say inside receiver slot. He kind of uses some craftiness to get open. He's not going to burn up the stopwatch with a great 40 time or anything like that. But you look around and number 8's always open because he knows how to get open. And if he can touch it, he usually catches it too. So if it gets to his hands, he usually catches it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you always just say, hey, Brody played well.
Right. And you
got a cup. Take your choice.
Out of the skill guys, you got a 50% chance because you got Brody Johnson, Brody Wood, Brody Blevins. 3 of our 6 skill guys are named Brody.
Yeah. From an announcer standpoint, that can get tricky. Easton Skaggs 3 sacks.
Yeah.
You had 5 total sacks on the game.
I think he had 3, and then I think Haney and Hooten both had 1 apiece, maybe.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
That defensive line is.
Is he a sophomore?
Weapon.
Easton's a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
And Isaiah's a
and
sophomore.
Hooten's a sophomore.
Yeah. Haney's our lone senior on the defensive front, and then Jake Haney, and then Luke Thompson in the secondary. So we have 2 senior starters on the defensive side right now.
How were you more impressed in Reed's kickoff ability, his field goal ability, or the punts?
Well, I try to keep Reed grounded because I brag
He's
on
in
Reed.
school. He ain't listening.
Well, maybe it's Daddy or
Oh,
something.
of course.
Sure. He missed a 50-yarder, so I have something. I have something to be on.
Short, wide.
It had distance, but
I don't think distance has ever been a problem.
He did miss a 50-yarder, so I give him something for coach to be critical about. But he was perfect on his extra points, and he did make a field goal right before halftime, put us up 31-7, and then.
I got a message during the game that said, "This was a fantastic punt."
Yeah,
I don't know which one it was.
Well, his last one, it did roll. It did have a little bit of a roll with it, but they had stopped us. We punted from our 20, and they took over on their 11. So I think that was a 69-yard punt. So he hit one that carried about 45, 50 in the air and then rolled the last 18, 20 yards. So it definitely changed the field position. It flipped it from being backed up in our own end to having them backed up at their 11.
And I also heard the atmosphere was really good.
It was really good. Really good. Great crowd from both sides. Glencoe had a great following. Perfect night for football. And I think we kicked it off. It was 72 degrees. Packed house on both sides. Our student section. I want to send a big thank you to our student section, our band. They were tremendous, and our fans. They really did a lot of things to amp up our video board and get more crowd involvement. The music and stuff. I think they busted a speaker at some point in time, so I think we got to get a speaker fixed. But overall, the atmosphere was outstanding. It was a fun night for high school football, and it's kind of one of those things. Now we get ready to go on the road, and Westbrook fans have always traveled great since I've been here. I've been very impressed with the crowd that we had, and so we're just gonna invite those guys to get in the cars tomorrow night and drive over to Sachs.
Carefully.
Yep.
Slow down. You want to read that question that comment by Coach?
Michael Short.
Yeah.
Steve Smith, the GOAT. Good luck this year. See you in a couple of weeks.
I love some Coach Short.
Yeah.
Coach Short's a great friend, great man. He's been one of the guys that I've looked up to ever since I've been in this profession, and you don't find many people out there that's better than Michael Short. So he's a guy I kind of lean on and get advice from a lot.
He's one of the dudes that the energy when you're around him.
Yep.
He's just a good dude.
He's a great guy.
People need Michael Shorts in their life.
Well, and I ask him every year. If he wants to come out of retirement and coach football. I try to get him to come to Westbrook every year to help me.
You introduced me to him. I do. He is a nice.
But right now he's a true family man. Ever since the word, he's got grandkids and stuff. He don't want to miss any time with them. But I'm hoping at some point in time I can persuade him to get back on the field, because not only is he a great person, but he's one of the best football coaches in North Alabama too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people jumping on here.
There's a bunch of folks.
Students were great.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
If there's one thing, real quick, to finish up before you guys start talking X's and O's about next week or this coming week tomorrow, what was the one thing that as a coach you were impressed with this week from your guys, or even from your coaching staff?
The thing that stood out to me the most probably was how many guys were rallying to the football and defensive side. And I had 2 different people from just outside the program talk to me about how much quicker they thought we looked on the defensive side. But as you watch the tape, you see 11 guys rallying to the football. every play. Just that effort, and the kids, I think, not just on the defensive side, that stood out to me, and that stood out to people from the outside looking in, because, I mean, and we make no bones about it. We got to be better on that side of the ball if you want to be in contention for a playoff spot and then making any noise in the playoffs. You're not going to outscore people every week. You're going to have to be solid on that side, and it's something we placed a lot of emphasis in. I want to give a big shout out as well to Coach Brad Lowe, our defensive coordinator. Very organized, one of the most organized coaches I've ever been around. A great game planner. He, along with Wayne Lee and Sean Smith and Jimmy Easterwood on the defensive side of the ball, they have a great plan each and every week for our kids. They push them at practice. They have high expectations, but Coach Lowe's kind of the architect of that, and he does a wonderful job. I said, mention Wayne Lee, who does our sports special teams. He's got Reed to start with on special teams, so that helps. But the complementary pieces that you have around there, covering those kicks, the punt team, and just the game planning each week, Wayne does a great job with that. And then offensively, Rob McHugh and Adam Brown helping me out, and then the job that they do getting their other guys on the offensive side. I kind of work with the quarterbacks and handle that, but they Rob helping with other skill guys, receivers, running backs, and Adam Brown in our offensive line. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys helping. And then you got Chad Phillips, our strength and conditioning coach, who's also got a big role for us on Friday nights, and Kurt Deary, our football ops guy, that's doing everything from working with managers during the week to making sure the huddle's working on Friday night to helping me with things. I just was telling Kurt this morning how much I appreciate him reminding me of all the things that has to be done each and every week, because having that guy right there is you can't put a price tag on how important those are. So our staff does a great job, and they don't get near the recognition and credit that they deserve. A lot of people that associate Westbrook football, they associate Steve Smith because I'm the head coach by title, but the job that those other men do to help us out, and all, I can't say enough good things about them either.
Awesome. Is that your football ops person?
Yeah, Kurt Deary. Yeah. He was my radio guy back at Piedmont, but a super good dude that is a fanatic about the history and things of that. And we do our job as coaches trying to game plan for the next week, and then Kurt will have some supplemental data that can go back for the last 5 jobs that the head coach at Sac has had, and where he's worked and who he worked under and what they ran and how many points they scored. I mean, he just digs up so much information that we can use to go back and look at trends and things like that. He's that guy that, like this week, he's already made contact, I'm sure, with Sachs about where the film crew is going to be, and do we have power on the sidelines, and would they have water on the sidelines? We need to bring our coolers with ice already with water. Him and Coach Phillips, work a lot of that together with the managers. But it's so nice to be able to show up at Sachs and go through the ritual of a pregame warm up and play the game and coach those things, and have other people that have taken care of a lot of the other stuff. And those coaches that I mentioned, they do a tremendous amount of the work that they don't get enough credit for what they do, and I appreciate them.
Somebody wants to know, have you guys ever forgotten footballs when you travel?
I'm sure that we have. I've done it for 31 years. I'm sure that we forgot football at some time. I've had people that's forgotten when they come to us. So there's some legendary stories about that type of stuff. Every now and then we'll have a player forgets their jersey. You wonder how that can happen. So I make them get on the bus with the jersey at least around their neck, so I can say that they got
smart.
it. But
Trust but verify.
Cleats, about once a year somebody's going to forget a pair of cleats, and then my thing on that, you play on what you got. So if you're in your boots, you just play in your boots. I mean, it's whatever. We're not going to take a pair off of a young kid and put them on somebody that can't remember their own. But and I've had kids play without knee pads. I've had kids play in wallabies. I've had kids that's warmed up in a white T-shirt with me drawing a number on the back of it because they forgot their jersey. But it's awesome. That's awesome. It will happen from time to time.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Bobby Sims made a comment, Jeff.
Bobby, I think we're more than a physical team Friday night as well. Weight program is showing improvement. So, yeah.
Well, it's been a process, and I give, again, Coach Phillips credit, our strength and conditioning guy. He's done a great job with our strength and our speed training and stuff. And I mentioned one of the previous shows, the nutrition program we got going on. Yeah. I don't know how many parents we got involved in that, but this week alone, I probably saw 20 different parents up there helping with food program. And then we had another 8 or 10 this morning serving breakfast after our Thursday morning practice.
That's a great problem.
It's a situation where there's a lot of people that are investing some time and efforts and money into making some things happen, and certainly appreciate all of them. That's what I talk about when I talk about our team. Mm-hmm. They're all part of our team.
And you know this better than most, probably. it's not like that everywhere.
No,
It's
it's
really
not.
not.
It's not. Like I said, I've been very
Should be.
fortunate. Very fortunate in all the jobs I've had, been able to create that kind of environment for our teams and all, and all. It's been really fun for me because that's how you would. I think that's how anybody would like for it to be done. But there are some obstacles at some places that prohibit you from being able to do that. But very thankful that here at Westbrook we've got plenty of folks that are willing to pitch in and help out.
Chad,
Yeah, that's funny.
did you start your breakfast off with a parfait, Coach?
Who's asking this question?
That would be
That's out
Chad
of Barber.
Phillips.
Who?
Chad Phillips.
Listen, I'm from Central Alabama. Sausage and biscuits usually what I've, but
Okay.
I like some pancakes and sausage. But I did eat a little bit of a parfait this morning before I ate about 10 strips of bacon.
Gotta get the protein in, right? That's what
That's it.
You just
That's
protein
outstanding.
That's
Chad, you're
it.
killing me. It's awesome. All right, so finishing up with
That's
with
Chad
Glencoe.
Phillips, our former strength and conditioning coach.
Former, he said. He was a former.
See how what he did right there. It's good.
I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. It's all fun.
So most important thing that could possibly happen, you got to win in the region.
Right.
Now we're moving on.
Right.
Now on the road, 2 sacks. I also think sacks will be improved from last year.
Mhm.
And I think it's the only matchup. Last year was the first time you guys ever played.
I think that's right. I think that was the first time in school history.
Yeah. So on the road,
Right.
stuff's different.
Right.
A lot of coaches. Are you one of those coaches who enjoy going on the road because there's less for you to personally do, or your staff?
Not really.
Okay.
I'd rather play at home.
Yeah.
No,
I'd rather play in front of the home folks because I know the crowd. Although we'll travel well, the crowd won't be as big as it would be if we were playing in Rainbow City. So there's some people that will not make that journey, which we need all the support we can get.
Sure.
The fans and the ones I mentioned earlier, they made a huge difference in the game. The other night it was loud. The entire game they were on their feet, they were cheering and making noise. Band was playing, so you want to have that same type of advantage when you go on the road, and I think we can have that advantage. But sometimes when you're on the road, people kind of don't feel like, well, it's not our home stadium. It's not, I hope our fans are just as loud as they were last week. But I will.
So he's watching game film while you're talking, and they playing. Hey, that's Jerry watching game film.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing a KFC announcement or something.
It is. It pops up.
Trying to talk over that, but
Well,
anyhow.
I was giving Chad Phillips something to get on.
Oh my!
But going on the road, I mean, from not having as many things, but some of our assistant coaches will tell you that it's just as for Coach Phillips, Coach Duryea, it's just as stressful to them, going on the road because they're carrying a lot of that stuff that we're having to use. But the atmosphere at home, nothing like playing on your home field.
Sure.
Sacs is a much different team. If you go back and look at them historically, especially over the last couple of years, they're very, very tough at Sacs. Maybe on the road, whether it's the travel or whatever, maybe not as formidable when they go somewhere else, and I think that could probably be said for 95% of the teams.
I'd agree.
But Sacs this year, they went on the road last week. They got beat pretty handily. They were at home the week before and they won. So just a lot of that has to do with the opponent, I'm sure. But at the same time, they hung 48 points on their opening opponent there, and the thing about them is they've got 2 or 3 guys at receiver, 2 or 3 guys in the backfield that if you don't get them on the ground,
Sure.
that's been the emphasis all week. You're not getting to them, not getting your hands on them, but you actually get them on the ground. They'll reverse field and go 80 yards in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've got to do a really good job of tomorrow night to be able to hold them in check because we got to be able to get them to the ground.
I know they put 48 on the board against Horseshoe Bend.
Right.
Then they ran into.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Sometimes they're not there yet.
Well, in this Sacs roster, I mean, we all can remember a time when Sacs was a 5A school back in the mid to late 90s.
Yep, for sure.
And as Fort McClellan has shut down, you've seen that kind of affect the Sacs and the Weavers and stuff of them with their enrollment. Even Aniston's down to a 4A now.
That's crazy.
But this Sacs roster, I was looking at, they got 23 players on the roster. 3 of those are 8th graders. They're starting 3 or 4 freshmen, starting 1 8th grader both ways. Very, very talented kids. You look out there, that 8th grader, 6'1", 190 pounds, playing receiver and safety, and he looks like $1 million, but he is a younger guy, and it's just one of those things that, when I was in school, I'd never thought of Sacs being a 3A school, number one, and then having only 25, 23 players on the roster. But I think you're seeing that at a lot of places where industry shutting down, or in this case, Fort McClellan shutting down, and it took a while for that to really, they went 5A to 4A and now to 3A, and it takes a while for that cycle to get all the way through. But Coach Felder being a new guy there, I've got a lot of respect for Shannon Felder. He did a great job when he was at Donahoe. He's been head coach a couple other places. Very, very bright offensive mind, hard-nosed defensive guy too. So, we're going to have our hands full going on the road playing against an extremely talented group from Sachs.
Coach, I have it on good authority that the Cowbells will be ready to go.
That's good.
That's what I heard.
That's good. Lots of racket, lots of noise.
Chain gang is such a nuisance on the road. Oh.
You got some characters.
That was Brent.
Yeah, we do.
You got some characters.
We do have some characters.
From North Carolina, Kurt Flannery. He's supporting you guys from Western North Carolina.
Thank you so much.
Old brother Kurt.
Brother Kurt,
How about
doing
that?
big things. So let's talk. We'll get in this game a little bit more. I want to pull from the past history of Coach Steve Smith. When you think about all the venues you've coached at, what were some of the toughest venues you went and coached at as a head coach?
Sachs is a tough place to coach at.
Yeah.
And they started treating the visitors a lot better when they started letting us dress down there at the bottom.
It's a long walk.
But I can remember Sachs when we dressed up on top on the same end they did, and having to come up and down the steps from the old classroom area that home ec, whatever it was that you dressed in up there. We played there several times, and time you went up that or come down that for we wouldn't walk the field when we got off the bus because that's one trip. Then time you come down for pregame, then you went back up, then you come back down for the game, then you went back up at halftime, you come back down. If you had one of those little heart things on your phone or whatever, you got your steps in just going back and forth from the locker room. But the biggest reason Sachs has always been tough to play at's because of the talent that was on the other sideline. Many kids that went on to college, they still got one guy in the NFL that we played against. Just a bunch of talented players that came through that program. But it was a tough place to play at, and that's one venue that I can remember. Leeds was always an interesting place to play at because everybody sat on one side, which
I forgot about that.
Ideally, as a coach, not necessarily a bad thing, but if I was the coach at Leeds, I would probably put my team on the side that there was no fans. So if there was a silver lining into not having fans at Leeds but on one side, it was the side that the visiting team was on. So you didn't have nobody's dad and mom was yelling at me about Junior not getting to play because if they were, I didn't hear them because I was all the way across on the other side. But that was an interesting place to play. Then you got some other places to play that people will tell you, that's not on purpose, but you dress about a half a mile from the facility from the football. We didn't do that on purpose. Now it's just all we got. You have to walk.
Pain, right?
You have to walk right through the middle of it. Played at Winterboro one time when I was at Cedar Bluff. In Winterboro, the only way from where you dress is you got to come in a little asphalt strip that's about 3 foot wide from the gym through their stadium, but you come in at the 50-yard line on their side. You come in their people and have to turn and walk. And that may have changed since 2004, but that's what it was then. That was a pretty rowdy bunch to have to come through their crowd. Colbert County, played there 2 or 3 times. Colbert County, all that tradition. And you share a block building with them on the end, and again have to come kind of through their people to get to your side.
Intimidating.
That was on purpose. They got people carrying tomahawks and yelling at you when you come through. I mean, that was always something I thought was pretty cool for them. Pretty rough for the opposing team, but there's some interesting places. Like I said, I've been in small school ball my whole time, so. Everybody in small school is not going to have a big, nice facility for the visiting team to dress in, so I get flack all the time for how hot the dressing room was at Piedmont for the visitors. And so it's about twice the size of this room that we're in right here, and you try to put about 50 people in there.
Regardless of the air conditioning.
It's pretty small, but hey, it's right there on the field. I always tell them it's right there on the field. Don't complain. You're just 10 yards on the field,
Of course, all they had to do was call Bobby Sims.
But Bobby Sims to fix that, but I think some of those different places I've been to over the years is pretty cool. And then
somebody's high school football special.
Well, and your filmer is usually the guy that gets the worst treatment. We've been some places that they've had a press box, but they wouldn't let you in the press box. They told you to get on top and it's a ladder that's welded to the side of the building.
Oh, yeah.
If you're over about 150 pounds, you're afraid the ladder's going,
Yeah.
the weld's going to break.
Well,
Yes.
we
So,
got that same issue
we-
in the
yeah.
broadcast world and carrying
Yeah.
radio equipment, TV
Yeah.
equipment, other
Great.
places.
Like I said, I've had some filmers before be on the tin roof of a building while there was a room open below it,
Yeah.
but had a couple places that didn't have anywhere for you to film, and they said just film on that hill back there behind the end zone.
Yeah.
So
That's actually my favorite place to film at Appalachia. Is on the big hill right
Yeah,
there.
that was a good place.
Yeah,
to
it's
be.
a good view. You got a comment? You want to read that question?
It says, ask Coach how you prepared for the Red Devils in the 2020 semifinals game.
well, that was a very, very good 5 team, and
It always is.
I think they were working on I think that was the
It's a
third year,
three-peat,
third year of
I think so.
3 years of 15-0 in a row.
Yeah.
You know, what they do so well. You can't really simulate that with a scout team offense. You know, your players, they give you the best effort they can, but you can't simulate what Fife does because they do it so well and so efficiently. And they're so tough. You know, physical up front. You tried to get to the game with all your players healthy. Number one, but getting there and trying to be able to slow them down a little bit. I think we did a pretty good job on defense that night. I call all the plays, and we didn't score but 6. I think it beat us 14-6. We only scored 6 points, so a lot of that falls back on me. I'm not figuring out a way to score, but we played pretty good that night. I think they had a pick 6 for a touchdown, and then they had one other touchdown for the game. It was a really good game, but I don't know that you can prepare. I don't know that you can prepare for that until you actually get up there and play into it.
I think you're talking about home field advantage. Fife has built an incredible home field advantage.
Yeah, well, again, it's one of those things. You know, there wasn't anything about it necessarily that was overboard. It was just that environment, that place, that game. I think that was a game that a lot of people had circled for the whole season, thinking that if both of us did our part, that game was supposed to happen, and it lived up to the billing. But Fife does have an awesome environment right there to have to go into, and it was a good night. We just come out on the short end of the stick.
And I just realized who that was asking that question.
Yeah.
He's a former Fife player.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
he did
He's
say
coaching
he
now.
said it was
Yeah.
the region of death playing Ohatchee, Welborn, and Piedmont in a row
in the playoffs.
in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a tough stretch.
Yeah, it was.
So I just realized who you were, Coach. I wasn't
And Kaysen, we had that conversation with Coach Smith off air. We won't do that to him on air, but we already have had that conversation with him.
oh, and his
and-
answer is yes.
Yes, it is yes.
Yeah, so we don't need to talk about
No,
that.
but we're just letting you know we see you, and it's
Yeah.
good. That was a good question, absolutely. But we'll tell you after the show, Coach.
Hey,
Yes,
Carrie answered it
Oh, did he?
at the bottom. Exactly right. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we said.
Shane said, no one in Etowah County would play Coosa. Ask Coach Smith if he would play. Why or why not he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you would play. But the way you're because
That's
you're in
right.
9-team
9-team.
region,
Right.
it's really
right.
not
Very
possible.
tough.
to
It didn't
do.
work out this time. You
Nope.
know, we had an opening, and then they had an opening, I think, with some things that happened with scheduling. But
Yeah.
our opening was week 7, their opening was week 5. And so we eventually found trying Georgia to play
Yeah.
because the 9-team region throws everything out of whack.
It's weird. Yeah.
8-team region, you know you're going to be off 1, 5, and 10. Then you got all kind of possibilities for playing non-region games. But situation happened, and somebody in 3A is probably going to be in a 9-team region next time. You kind of hope that they don't do it to the same people.
You would
'cause
hope
this
not.
year it's
It's
us.
tough.
I think Plainview and them's in a 4A region. It's got 9 teams. But when you look at the map, and this is something that a lot of folks never really understood, and I didn't understand it until I actually got to see the map. There is such a concentration of 2A, 3A, and 4A schools in Northeast Alabama.
That makes
Mhm.
sense.
And if you think about it,
Yeah.
Gadsden City's a 6A, Oxford's a 6A, but really in other than Northeast Alabama, Southside's I guess 6A right now,
Yeah.
but they're 5A usually.
Correct.
Fort Payne's 5, 6. Scottsboro, you go all the way there to find a 5 or 6A, but there are
Rest of 'em.
there are a million 2A, 3A, 4A schools,
Mhm.
and even here just a few years ago, I think Center and Jacksonville were considered 4A South.
Correct.
You had Center Alabama, which was an hour from Chattanooga,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they went in the first round and played Mobile Christian because they were considered 4A South. That's just how many of the small schools are up in this area. And so, there may be a day where us and Coosa wind up in the same area, even. Just,
Mhm.
the multipliers, success factors, and things like that. But it's one of those situations to where you can't really tell what you're going to have until the schedule comes out.
Yep. Good
All
question.
right, yeah, great question. So, hey, let's just wrap this one up
Yep.
here and talk about sacks. What, regardless of score, obviously you want to get the victory. Well,
Right.
what is it that you're looking for to say, hey, I'm happy with how this game went? What's some of the improvements you want to see?
Well, I think, stacking another good effort in all three phases on top of what we did last week is big. I tell kids all the time, it's just as hard to handle success as it is to handle failure. A lot of times when
Sure,
you
that's
fail
right.
at something, you're really motivated and driven to try to get better at it, and you really work on those things that you need to work to get better at. Sometimes, though, we don't need to regress back in the kicking game. We don't need to start kicking it and not in the end zone. We don't need to start knock down and punts inside the 20. We don't need to start not getting some good pressure with our defensive front. We need to improve on running the football. We know that, but sometimes it's just as hard to continue on with the things that you've done well as it is to correct the things that you need to improve on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you factor in small school ball, injuries, things of that nature. May not be a starter, but it might be a depth guy. Then you start having to shuffle things around. Okay, if this guy's having to play, he didn't get a whole lot of work. You have to maybe limit your play call sheet because of a lack of experience. And so that's why the JV games, that's why the extra walkthroughs and stuff that you do, to a lot of people it might look redundant, but it's very important because as the course of the season goes, the next man up mentality will kick in for every team at some point in time because injuries in this sport are unavoidable. They're going to
Right.
happen. And, I think everybody, 1A through 7A has somebody that they really can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
question.
Sure.
When you get down to the 4A and below, that may be one or two somebodies that can change the whole complexion of the season. And I know to the average fan it is, was just one player. You got 55. But sometimes at small school levels, when the running back goes down, that there may be a receiver that moves to running back, and then there may be a tight end that moves to receiver, and there may be an offensive lineman that has to move to tight end, or even worse, if a lineman goes down, a tight end goes to O line, and receiver goes to tight end, and running back goes to receiver. It's kind of a trickle down effect a lot of times because although you got first stringers and second stringers at each position, sometimes that second stringer is a second stringer by default because there's nobody else.
Right.
He may not be the next guy ready to play in the game.
Yeah.
He may be second string at this particular position, but he may not be the guy that's going to go in if the starter goes down. It may take some shuffling because ultimately you got to get your best 11 out there to have a chance to be successful as a team.
That offensive line. That's the
That's right.
unit, man.
That's
That's
right.
the unit that's going to lead the way.
That's right.
And you got a good one.
Well, in any level of football, you watched it Saturday with Alabama and Florida State. You said in high school, you watch it in the NFL when those games start. I mean, you still have to win the line of scrimmage, offensive and defensive front is
Right.
still where it starts. And the passing game and throwing it all over the field, everybody loves that. It's fun, it's exciting. But typically speaking, the teams that can run the ball and stop the run have the best chance of winning
Mm-hmm.
long term.
Agreed.
Golly,
I'm excited
good
for
show,
it.
man.
But
Good
I got to
info.
wrap up with a couple of different questions.
Okay.
Steph. I know we got to go, but I love talking top 10 matchups.
Okay.
Really good one in 3A.
All right.
Collinsville at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people are curious. Hey, is Collinsville really made the step up? Well, you're going to find out when you go to 5, right? That's going to be a good one. You ain't got to pick a win or lose it, but what do you expect from that game?
I got to see Collinsville last year in the playoffs because we weren't in the playoffs, so I saw them.
But this year we're going to be.
Extremely talented group of skilled guys I can remember from last year, and I think all of them are pretty much back. And I do think one of them might have transferred to Cherokee County. But a lot of those names, my years at Cedar Bluff, I saw McAteer. I remember his dad being a quarterback against me when I was at Cedar Bluff, and I remember I think his dad was Cody, if I remember right. His dad was a really great player. There's a lot of names there that are running back memories for me at Collinsville. Here comes the but you got to go to 5.
Exactly right.
And here's the thing: you can have a great plan, you can have plays that look good on the chalkboard or on the whiteboard. You got to go do 5 and beat 5. And until somebody goes to 5 and beats 5, then I think it's one of those things. But you got to go take care of business and get it done. And like I said, I don't care how many players Five's got. I don't care how many they lost. I don't care who's hurt.
Next.
You got Coach Benefield over there. Those kids at Five. I used to say this. I think they grow up. I don't know if they throw ball in the yard and like pitch and catch. I think they get on both ends of the couch and just go and meet in the middle and see who can knock the other one out.
That's probably true.
And those kids are hard nosed and I don't worry about Collinsville. Can they match Five's skill talent?
Yeah.
In order to beat Five, Collinsville will have to match Five's physicality. Can they? I have no idea. I've not seen either one of them this year. But if you don't go up there and fight back with Five, 48 minutes of that physical type play will eventually wear you down.
Somebody commented and said they don't play freeze tag in Fife. They play Oklahoma drills when they're children.
Hey, great analogy.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect way of saying it.
Yeah. People forget that Collinsville's won a state championship. They understand.
In football?
Yeah. Then they win a state championship. Where's that Crossville?
Crossville won. Crossville won.
That's that Evan Edge. I mean, that Greg Edge team.
And Coach Edge is our assistant principal at Westbrook. He was a sophomore on that. Yeah. He was a sophomore on that Crossville championship team.
He's soft now.
He's just soft. He's still a good golfer. What is this? Westbrook, Fife, Mars Hill, Piedmont, best 4 teams in the North. Okay.
I appreciate somebody considering us in that conversation.
This is a coach from another team, actually.
Well, we haven't done anything to prove that yet. Like
something about Mars Hill Bible College. They just do good stuff.
I mean, my gosh.
Coach, anything closing? Family's good. Mom and dad's good.
Everybody's doing good. Doing good.
Still haven't seen a casserole yet.
I'm waiting.
Coach ain't brought nothing.
We look in the refrigerator every day, nothing. Coach.
We wait for our gear. Still ain't got it. We wait for casserole. Still ain't got it.
Coach, thank you.
I need to do better. I'm sorry.
Good luck. We're excited to see you guys go on the road and bring back that victory, and more importantly, to a known region.
Got to get off to a good start tomorrow night. Got to go ready to play. Just realize that every week's challenge go 1-0.
Go support them.
Yep. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Picnic at River Rocks Landing. Appreciate you guys. River Rocks Landing Resort and Venue. Go check them out. They got all kinds of stuff down there. Tiny homes, all that kind of stuff. We thank you to Shelnut and Varner, attorneys at law, being our exclusive law firm here. Choice Fabricators. Golly, just so many. Mayor Joe Taylor, A+ Mechanical Services. Eagle Ridge Embroidery. Man, if you need your stuff embroidered, go on down to Eagle Ridge. Right there in Rainbow City, they'll take care of you. Absolute Respiratory Care. New Image Weight Loss and Wellness, Jerry.
We say I get our IVs. Man.
We do.
We're going to do a show.
Tomorrow will probably be a great day to do it. A great day. Alpha Insurance, the Arthur Ellen Agency. Thank you guys for everything you guys do. Bo Arthur is the man with the plan, and sometimes he lets Jason Ellen come on in there, but
not most of the time.
We don't want to give Jason too much credit, but the Gadsden Mall, Jerry, speak to that real quick.
Man, hey, they're improving some things. Great theater, great food establishments. Just go hang out. You were the mall back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It was a spot.
He was at Orange Julius. That's where he was all the time.
I'll take an Orange Julius.
Yeah, me too.
I went there plenty.
Yep. Guys, thank you so much.